There's something powerful about a story, right? A personal account of something or a testimonial video. At least there's something really powerful about it when, Salvation Army or Elevation Church releases it. If you're feeling like the story videos you produce are missing some kind of secret sauce or wow factor, this is the video for you. Let's get into it. Tip number 1, know the story before the shot. With my company, before we ever tell a story, we call the person or we have lunch with the person and we have them tell us their story just off the cuff. We take notes, show up with paper. We're gonna take this initial story interview and we're gonna turn it into a set of interview questions that prompt them through the key pieces of their story. This also helps us a little bit edit before we even get to the editing room. Tip number 2. Prep the set before the talent gets there. Show up at least an hour early, find your spot. Look for the opportunity to capture a vibe or tell a story that's on brand. If you're a nonprofit and red is your color, find a brick wall. Look for the opportunity to tell your story in a way that will feel natural and get that whole space set up, lights, camera, all those things, have it all ready before your talent shows up. You don't want them to get all in their head with, there's a microphone up there, the lighting is over here, and they're getting all in their head like, wow, look at all this equipment. I don't know that I'm just an average person. So if it's all ready when they show up, then you can focus on making them feel comfortable, which just so happens to be tip number 3. Make your talent feel comfortable from the moment they enter the building. As soon as your talent shows up, you have entered service mode. This is your chance to help someone else share their story in a way that impacts the world around them. Meet them at the door and bring them into the room. Hey, great to see you. I've got a water bottle. Are you feeling thirsty? And instead of doing some kind of complex, all right, I need you to check the microphone, say, hey, 1, 2, just start talking to them and do all your equipment stuff while you're talking. Act like it's no big deal. In the story that I recently posted with Whitney Hogan's, I had her come in and I just had her sit in the chair and I said, so tell me about your day, Whitney, how are things going? And while she was talking, I had the headphones on, I checked the audio levels, I said, okay, how's my framing look? I went over to my B camera, all while just having a conversation with Whitney. And then when you start, I always start with the softball, hey, okay, just tell me, say hi, this is my name and this is my story. I probably won't even use that line because it's kind of corny, but it gets them, okay, I'm talking, I'm looking at the camera. Make sure your talent looks at the camera lens. Doesn't this feel weird? It's like, why is he talking to me, but he's looking over there? But if I'm looking right at the camera, then I'm making eye contact with the viewer on the other side of the screen. Tip number 4, capture feelings. We want to know what it feels like. We want to be able to experience what they experienced. With Whitney, that meant asking about, what does this do to your image of yourself? How did you interact with God during that time period? All those kinds of things. Capturing the whole person, not just the outward projection of the person going down a timeline. Tip number 5, bet you'll never guess. Capture B-roll. I know, I talk about B-roll a lot, but it's a great tool for immersive video. So make sure that you capture some B-roll, one, while they're speaking, but also when they're done, get some B-roll of their emotions. If they're talking and you notice, she's talking about something that was really pivotal and life-changing, but I didn't really feel it in her body language. People sometimes get stiff when they're talking to the camera. At the end, just go back and capture some of those emotions. Say, hey, do you have a nervous fidget? And they might say, oh, I play with my hands sometimes, or I bite my nails. And say, hey, just do that for me. And get the camera right up nice and close and just capture those things so that you can sprinkle in those little touches of emotion throughout the video. Again, deepening your immersion. We want people to be immersed in this story. We want them to forget that there is even a screen or a monitor or a phone between them and what's happening. When you put all these pieces together, you end up with a compelling story. If you want to see what one of them looks like, I've linked one by my company right here. I'm Josh Hughes, on a mission to save you time, money, and sanity as you navigate the world of nonprofit video. And just like last time, I'll see you next time.